Despite being only a few months into 2022, it has proven to be an amazing year for anime. The rest of the year still has a ton of incredible shows, and because of that, today's list is on a few that we think you should keep your eyes peeled for. Welcome back to Animeology. We'll be running through some of our most anticipated new anime set to be released in 2022. Pay close attention and stick around because you definitely do not want to miss out on these. Number 10, My Esky Life. A brilliant new isekai and adventure anime series. Starting off as early as 2017, My Esky Life has seen a great deal of success as a light novel and manga series. Finally getting an anime adaptation set to launch across July 2022, the anime community is absolutely hyped for this upcoming release. Yuji Sano is a corporate drone that lives a boring and mundane life. But one day, after a long day of work, Yuji starts up his PC to be greeted by a strange message, inviting him to another world. Yuji is curious and can't help but accept. Waking up in a fantasy world that is the furthest thing from his life of paperwork and computers, Yuji is convinced that this is a dream and is extremely stressed, worrying about the piles of work he left behind him in his normal life. Yuji soon makes a number of interesting friends and starts to unravel some powerful slime and knowledge-based abilities that makes him incredibly powerful in this exciting new world. With an insane amount of magical powers, Yuji is well on his way to becoming one of the most powerful magic users in this exciting new isekai world. Number 9, Call of the Night. An interesting blend of both the supernatural with some lighthearted romance and comedy elements behind it. This is a relatively new manga series whose huge hype led to this upcoming July 2022 anime release date. Set in a world filled with humans and vampires, we follow Ko Yamori, a 14-year-old high school boy who is insanely bored with his mundane life. Ko literally cannot sleep and cannot find any satisfaction with his daily life and stops going to school entirely. Wandering the streets late at night, Ko comes across a mysterious girl by the name of Nazuna. We learn that she's actually a vampire, and Nazuna shows Ko the fun and joy of being a night walker. Ultimately, Ko really wants to become a vampire himself, but in order to do that, he has to fall in love with her first. In the meanwhile, Ko stays with Nazuna in an abandoned building while she sucks his blood while he sleeps. Number 8, Reborn to Master the Blade. A relatively newer manga and anime franchise, Reborn to Master the Blade is a brilliant fantasy-type series that ticks all the right boxes. With an anime adaptation that has been continually pushed back and delayed, we are expecting a 2022 release, although there are rumors of a January 2023 premiere. In the meanwhile, we definitely recommend sinking your teeth into the brilliant manga and light novel series. Reborn to Master the Blade has a little something for everybody. Set in the kingdom of Silver, we learn of the hero King Inglis. Personally blessed by the goddess Alistia, Inglis is a divine knight, slaying enemies of humanity, including insanely powerful dark gods, and setting up the kingdom. The last favor granted to the hero King Inglis on his deathbed, the goddess Alistia reincarnated Inglis. His greatest regret was not being able to reach the peak of truly mastering the blade. Inglis is reborn as a woman and lives their entire life with the sole focus of truly mastering the blade in an awesome fantasy series with some brilliant action under the surface. Number 7, Salaryman's Club. An awesome new sports anime that focuses on the seriously underrated world of competitive badminton. This series takes a drastically different approach to that of most traditional sports anime. We meet Mikoto Shiratori, a highly skilled badminton player that can literally see into the future when he plays. The story ends with Mikoto losing his banking job after losing a match for his company's badminton sports team, but getting hired by a rival company to play for theirs. Makoto has a seriously interesting badminton past and has since vowed to never play on a doubles team again. Meeting the interesting and charming Tatsuru Miyazumi, our hero is tempted to play doubles once again, and works together to get past his horrible emotional trauma in order to rise the ranks and become a greater badminton player than he had ever been before. Number 6. Trapped in a dating sim, the world of otome games is tough for mobs. A brilliant comedy isekai series that chooses to focus on an awesome science fiction world as opposed to the classic fantasy isekai that is the most common around the anime world. Starting off as a highly successful self-published web novel series, this series has since seen a great deal of hype surrounding its light novel and manga release. With a lot of story arcs and developments to draw from, this anime series is set to be one of the best of spring 2022. The story itself follows a regular office worker who dies and is reincarnated in a story-based visual novel game that he was forced to play with his sister. Reincarnated into a fantasy-type setting with an interesting twist, a world that is ruled by women and extremely difficult for characters like him. Our hero needs to use his knowledge of his past life to cheat and try to make his new life a success. Getting caught up in all kinds of interesting developments and mingling with literal royalty, as well as a number of other characters in this exciting new world. We cannot wait to see what new adventures are in store. Number 5. Summertime Render. A brilliant supernatural mystery tale. Summertime Rendering only completed its manga run early last year, and has since seen a lot of positive reaction from the community surrounding this upcoming anime release. We follow Shinpei Ajiro, living with the Kofune sisters after his parents' death. But now living in Tokyo, Shinpei is forced back to his hometown when he learns that one of his sisters has actually died while trying to save someone. But a number of weird markings and bruises around her neck leave Shinpei with a lot of questions. He becomes convinced that there is a lot more to this than meets the eye, and that the untimely death of one of the Kofune sisters is just the tip of the iceberg. With the help of a collection of interesting characters, Shinpei sets off on an epic unraveling, learning the truth through twists and turns with a clearer ending outline from the manga series. Summertime Render is an anime series you do not want to miss out on. Number 4. A Couple of Cuckoos. A cute and heartfelt romantic comedy series that had us laughing and crying through the original manga run. We cannot wait for the next volume to come out, but thankfully enough with an anime television series set for a spring 2022 release. It's clear to see that our prayers have finally been answered. We follow Nagi Umino, a 17-year-old high schooler who learns that he's not actually the biological child of the family that raised him from birth. He learns who his true biological family is and decides to meet them and see them for himself. On his way to this meeting, Nagi comes across Erika Amano, a popular internet celebrity that is actually trying to escape an arranged marriage. Later on, the two learn that their parents accidentally switched them from birth and are now trying to put them in an arranged family, and forced to live in a house owned by Erika's family. A lot of awkwardness, a lot of smiles, and a lot of romance. This is a brilliant series that brings together a lot of unique characters together and has them interacting in an interesting way. Number 3. Dance Dance Dancier. An interesting anime series that has been running for the past 7 years. Dance Dance Dancier is finally getting an anime adaptation. With a lot of brilliant arcs and core story parts to borrow from, we can't wait to see what this April 2022 release is set to impress us with. We meet Junpei, happily relaxing and even falling asleep during his sister's ballet recital, when all of a sudden, a starking male ballet dancer steps onto the stage. Junpei can't help but become enchanted and amazed by the strength and sheer skill of this dancer. Junpei slowly begins to discover a love for ballet. But his journey is not a straight path, as tragedy befalls Junpei and he vows to leave his past behind him with a strong love for ballet. Dance Dance Dancier is not your traditional sports and competition type anime, but something far, far greater. Number 2. Aharen is Indecipherable.
くらなんでも取りすぎじゃね?
A bit more lighthearted than most anime out there, this is a charming romantic comedy series with a fleshed out manga series to draw from. With a rapidly approaching April 2022 launch date, we have some very high hopes for Aharen-san the Indecipherable. Our MC is Reina Aharen, a small and cute student that is extremely soft-spoken. With poor spatial awareness and a bad judge of personal space, you can't help but fall in love with the endearing Aharen. The only person that even attempts to understand and give her a chance is our hero, Raido Matsuboshi. Sitting right behind Aharen in class with a scary looking face, we soon realize that he's a very kind boy with an extremely overactive imagination. We follow the interesting friendship that the two start to slowly develop, becoming best friends and watching that relationship grow perhaps into something far more. Number 1. Jigokuraku. By now, you should know that dark fantasy and psychological thrillers are our greatest weakness. We are so incredibly hyped for the upcoming release of Hell's Paradise, Jigokuraku. We absolutely adore the manga series which ended across 2021. With an anime adaptation announced, we can hardly wait for its upcoming release. We follow Gabimaru, the Time Hollow. Captured during an assassination mission, he is sentenced to death. But nothing seems to be able to kill him due to his unbelievably powerful and superhuman body. It's believed that the love for his wife is what keeps him alive. But the executioner Yamada offers our hero the chance to be pardoned for all his crimes if he's able to find the elixir of life in a deadly new realm that had just been discovered. Having already lost many expedition teams in the hunt for the potion that grants everlasting life, the Japanese shogunate is now sending groups of death row convicts, guided by a single executioner, in an awesome new anime series that is said to be absolutely incredible.